Last night, while you were sleeping, you died. Not physically, of course, but from the perspective of consciousness, something remarkably similar to death occurred. Your awareness of the external world dissolved completely. Your sense of having a physical body disappeared. You entered a realm where the normal laws of physics don't apply, where you can fly, teleport, meet impossible beings, experience events that contradict everything you know about reality. Then, after what seemed like hours but might have been minutes, you were reborn into waking consciousness, remembering little or nothing of where you'd been. According to Tibetan Buddhism, this nightly journey through sleep and dreams isn't coincidence or evolutionary accident. It's a rehearsal, a precise analog of the journey consciousness takes through death and the Bardos. Every night you're practicing for the most important transition you'll ever face, but you're doing it unconsciously, missing the opportunity to prepare. If you're ready to discover why Tibetan masters consider dream practice essential preparation for death, if you want to understand the hidden bridge connecting your nightly dreams to the afterlife experience, subscribe now and activate notifications, because what you're about to learn will transform both your sleep and your understanding of what happens when this life ends. The connection between dreams and death has been recognized across cultures and throughout history. Ancient Egyptians believed dreams were messages from the afterlife. Greek philosophers saw sleep as the brother of death. Indigenous traditions worldwide use dream experiences to communicate with deceased ancestors. But Tibetan Buddhism developed this intuition into a complete science of consciousness, mapping the precise correlations between dream states and death states, creating practices that use dreams as a training ground for navigating the Bardos. The foundational insight is that consciousness operates similarly whenever it's released from gross physical constraints. During deep sleep, consciousness withdraws from the sense organs and gross mental processes. The subtle consciousness continues, creating dream experiences that aren't bound by physical laws. During death, consciousness separates completely from the body. The subtle consciousness continues, creating bardo experiences that parallel dream experiences in their fluidity, their responsiveness to mental states, and their lack of physical limitations. Understanding dreams gives you direct experiential access to how consciousness functions when disembodied, which is exactly what you need to understand for navigating death. The tradition distinguishes between ordinary dreams, which most people experience unconsciously, and lucid dreams, where you become aware you're dreaming while the dream continues. Lucid dreaming isn't just an interesting phenomenon. It's training in maintaining awareness through states where ordinary reference points dissolve, exactly what's required for remaining conscious through death's dissolution stages. When you can recognize a dream as a dream while still experiencing it vividly, you're developing the capacity to recognize the bardo as the bardo while experiencing it fully. But Tibetan dream yoga goes far beyond what contemporary Western research on lucid dreaming typically explores. The practice isn't just about controlling dreams or having entertaining experiences. It's about recognizing the nature of mind itself, understanding that waking experience, dream experience, and bardo experience are fundamentally the same in being appearances in consciousness, empty of inherent existence, responsive to intention and mental state. This recognition, when stabilized, transforms your relationship to all experience and prepares you comprehensively for death. If you've ever had a lucid dream, where you suddenly realized you were dreaming while the dream continued, hit that like button. That moment of recognition, that shift in perspective while experience continues unchanged, is the key to everything we're exploring today. Let's examine the specific parallels between sleep, dreams, and death that Tibetan Buddhism identifies. The tradition describes 6 bardos or intermediate states that encompass all of existence, not just the period between lives. 3 bardos occur during life: the natural bardo of this life, the bardo of meditation, and the bardo of dreams. 3 bardos occur during death: the bardo of dying, the bardo of dharmata, and the bardo of becoming. These aren't separate realms but different modes of consciousness experiencing reality. The bardo of dreams, milam bardo, occurs every night during REM sleep when narrative dreams arise. This bardo shares crucial characteristics with the death bardos. First, Both involve consciousness operating without a physical body, or with only a subtle body that has unusual properties. In dreams, you have a dream body that can do impossible things. In the bardo after death, you have a mental body with similar capabilities. Both can travel instantaneously, pass through solid objects, aren't bound by normal physical constraints. Second, both dream and death experiences arise from your own mind and karma, rather than from external objective circumstances. The content of your dreams reflects your daytime preoccupations, your deep karmic patterns, your hopes and fears. The visions in the bardo reflect these same patterns but with heightened intensity, because there's no physical body to anchor or limit the projections. Understanding that dream experiences are mind-created helps you understand that bardo experiences are equally mind-created, not external realities happening to you, but appearances arising from your own consciousness. Third, both dreams and bardos are highly responsive to mental state and intention. In lucid dreams, when you recognize you're dreaming, you can often change dream content through intention. You can fly, create objects, transform scenarios. This isn't because dreams are less real than waking reality, but because dream reality operates according to different principles, responding directly to mental states rather than being mediated through physical constraints. The bardo operates similarly. Your mental state, your intentions, your level of realization directly shape what you experience and where you go. Fourth, ordinary people experience both dreams and bardos unconsciously, swept along by appearances without recognizing their nature. You dream but don't know you're dreaming. Appearances arise and you react to them as if they were solid external reality, experiencing attraction to pleasant dream scenarios and aversion to unpleasant ones. In the bardo, the untrained consciousness experiences visions and reacts to them unconsciously, attracted and repelled, driven by karmic winds toward rebirth, never recognizing that the entire experience is mind's projection. Fifth, both dreams and bardos offer opportunities for awakening that most people miss. In dreams, if you recognize the dream nature of experience, you can use that recognition to investigate the nature of mind itself. You can see directly how consciousness creates appearances, how they arise from nowhere and dissolve into nowhere, how they lack inherent existence while still appearing vividly. This is wisdom realizing emptiness, accessible right there in the dream state. Similarly, in the bardos after death, if you recognize the visions as mind's projections rather than as external reality, liberation is possible at any moment. The practice of dream yoga systematically develops the capacity to remain aware through dream states, using sleep every night as a laboratory for training consciousness. The traditional texts describe a progressive sequence of practices building from simple to advanced. You begin by developing dream recall, simply remembering more and more of your dreams each morning. This establishes a stronger connection between waking consciousness and dream consciousness, reducing the amnesia that normally separates them. Next, you develop the intention and expectation to recognize dreams as dreams. Throughout the day, you practice checking whether you're dreaming. You look at your hands, try to push your finger through your palm, attempt to float slightly off the ground, examine text or images to see if they remain stable when you look away and look back. In waking reality, these checks confirm you're not dreaming. But the habit of checking transfers to the dream state. Eventually, you'll perform one of these checks in a dream, discover that you can push your finger through your palm, or that text changes when you look away, and realize you're dreaming. Comment below if you've ever spontaneously realized you were dreaming. Share what triggered the recognition and what happened next. Your experience illuminates these teachings. That first moment of lucidity in a dream is extraordinary. The dream continues with full vividness, but you know it's a dream. The fear that nightmare scenarios might trigger vanishes because you know nothing can actually harm you. The grasping after pleasant scenarios relaxes because you understand they're not ultimately real. You have space, freedom, the ability to observe your own mind creating and experiencing appearances simultaneously. This is the beginning of dream yoga, but it's not the culmination. The practice continues with stabilizing lucidity, so it doesn't immediately fade. Beginners often become so excited upon recognizing they're dreaming that the excitement wakes them up, or the lucidity dissipates and they fall back into unconscious dreaming. The training involves maintaining calm, balanced awareness. You remind yourself it's a dream, but you don't grasp at the lucidity. You stay present with the experience without excessive excitement or manipulation. Once you can maintain lucidity for extended periods, the practice moves to transformation. You practice changing dream content through intention, demonstrating to yourself experientially that these appearances respond to mind. You might transform a threatening figure into a peaceful one, change the dream environment from hostile to welcoming, create objects, dissolve objects, fly, pass through walls. This isn't just entertainment. It's training and working with appearances skillfully, developing confidence that mind shapes experience in fundamental ways. Then comes a more subtle level of practice: multiplication and transformation of the dream body itself. You practice emanating multiple dream bodies from the one you normally identify with, sending them to different locations, experiencing through multiple perspectives simultaneously. You practice transforming your dream body into different forms: animals, deities, elements like fire or water. This directly challenges the assumption that you are your body, revealing experientially that consciousness can inhabit any form or multiple forms. That identification with a particular body is habitual rather than inherent. The advanced levels of dream yoga move beyond transformation to examination of the dream state's actual nature. Instead of changing dream content, you investigate it. What are these appearances made of? Where do they come from? Where do they go when they dissolve? What is the relationship between the experiencer and the experienced in the dream? You apply vipassana or analytical meditation within the dream itself, using the fluid, transparent nature of dream appearances to gain insight into the empty nature of all appearances, including waking appearances. The most advanced practice is recognizing the clear light nature of sleep itself. The tradition teaches that during deep sleep, when dreams aren't occurring, consciousness rests in a state similar to the clear light that appears at death. Ordinarily, you're completely unconscious during deep sleep, unaware of this clear light. But advanced practitioners train to maintain awareness even through deep sleep, recognizing the fundamental luminosity of consciousness that exists prior to any arising of objects, thoughts, or dreams. This practice, called sleep yoga to distinguish it from dream yoga, directly prepares you for recognizing the clear light at death. The texts describe how to practice sleep yoga. You maintain awareness during the transition from waking to sleeping, watching the dissolution of sense perceptions, the fading of thoughts, the approach of sleep without losing consciousness. You use visualization practices, imagining luminous syllables at key points in your subtle body, particularly a luminous sphere at your heart center. As sleep approaches, you merge your awareness with this luminosity. If you succeed in maintaining awareness, you experience deep sleep as clear, luminous space without any coarse content, similar to what will appear at death. Share this video with anyone interested in dreams, consciousness, or preparing for death. These practices bridge everyday experience with the most profound transition we'll face, making the extraordinary accessible through the ordinary. The connection between dream practice and death preparation becomes explicit when we examine how the Tibetan tradition uses dreams to rehearse specific death scenarios. One practice involves visualizing yourself as Vajrayogini or another deity before sleep, then maintaining that deity identity in dreams. You practice dying as the deity, going through the dissolution stages consciously, merging finally into clear light. This is simultaneously dream yoga, deity yoga, and death preparation all integrated into one practice. Another practice uses dreams to visit pure lands, the enlightened realms where Buddhas and Bodhisattvas reside. You set the intention before sleep to dream of Amitabha's pure land of Sukhavati, or Tara's pure land, or Medicine Buddha's pure land. When you succeed in dreaming of these places, you practice in the dream, receiving teachings, making offerings, accumulating merit. More importantly, you're establishing karmic connections with these pure lands that can activate at death, offering destinations beyond ordinary samsaric rebirth. The tradition also teaches using dreams for communication with teachers, living or dead. You set the intention to meet your guru in dreams and receive instructions. Many practitioners report profound teachings received in dreams, sometimes conveying information they didn't consciously know, but which proves accurate upon waking investigation. The Bardo Thodol itself instructs reading the text to the deceased partly because consciousness in the Bardo can perceive the living, similar to how dream consciousness can incorporate external sounds or sensations into dream narratives. Perhaps most directly, dream yoga trains you for the specific challenge of recognizing appearances as mind's projections while they're occurring. This is exactly what's required in the Bardo. The peaceful and wrathful deities will appear with overwhelming intensity. Your untrained habitual response will be to experience them as external, to be attracted or frightened, to react unconsciously. But if you've trained extensively in lucid dreaming, if you've developed the habit of recognizing appearances as appearances, if you can maintain awareness that what you're experiencing is mind's projection even while experiencing it fully, then when the deities appear, you'll have the capacity to recognize them. The texts are explicit. If you can recognize a dream as a dream, you can recognize the Bardo as the Bardo. If you can transform dream appearances through intention, you can transform Bardo appearances. If you can maintain awareness through the transition from waking to dreaming to deep sleep, you can maintain awareness through the transition from living to dying to the clear light. The structure is identical. The training transfers directly. Modern neuroscience has become increasingly interested in lucid dreaming, conducting studies on practitioners who can signal from within dreams using prearranged eye movements. Brain scans show that lucid dreamers have heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex during REM sleep compared to non-lucid dreamers, suggesting meta-awareness or awareness of awareness. This correlates with the Tibetan understanding that lucid dreaming develops a particular quality of consciousness. Not just knowledge about dreams, but a different mode of knowing. Research on meditation and brain states shows overlapping patterns between deep meditation and certain sleep stages. The theta and gamma wave combinations that appear during advanced meditation also appear during REM sleep and lucid dreaming. Practitioners who spend decades training in meditation demonstrate unusual ability to maintain awareness through sleep transitions. This validates the Tibetan claim that meditation practice, dream yoga, and death preparation are all training the same fundamental capacity, maintaining clear awareness through states where ordinary consciousness dissolves. Studies on near-death experiences note that many experiencers describe the sensation as hyper-real, more vivid than ordinary waking consciousness, similar to what lucid dreamers report about lucid dreams being more vivid than normal dreams. This suggests that consciousness freed from physical constraints might have enhanced rather than diminished perceptual capacity. Exactly what the Tibetan teachings claim about both dreams and Bardos. The practical question becomes, how do you actually train in dream yoga? The tradition offers specific preliminary practices that create conditions supporting lucid dreaming. First is ethical discipline. Living with integrity reduces guilt, anxiety, and mental turbulence that disturb sleep and make conscious dreaming more difficult. The calmer and clearer your waking mind, the more accessible your dreams become. Second is daytime dream practice. Throughout the day, you cultivate the perspective that waking experience is dreamlike. Not that it doesn't matter or isn't real at the conventional level, but that it's empty of inherent existence, arising in dependence on causes and conditions, responsive to mental states. You practice seeing people, objects, and events as appearances in consciousness, rather than as solid external realities independent of your mind. This shifts your default mode toward recognizing the appearance nature of experience, which naturally extends into sleep. Third is mindfulness of the hypnagogic state, the transition period between waking and sleeping. Instead of unconsciously drifting into sleep, you maintain awareness of the process. You notice thoughts becoming less linear, imagery arising spontaneously, the sense of physical body dissolving. You observe without grasping or aversion, simply watching consciousness transition from one mode to another. Over time, this awareness extends further into the sleep cycle. Fourth is setting strong intention. Before sleep, you remind yourself repeatedly, "Tonight I will recognize my dreams as dreams." You visualize yourself becoming lucid. Imagine the feeling of recognizing you're dreaming while the dream continues. You might use a mantra or prayer requesting blessings for successful practice. You sleep in a posture that supports awareness, typically on your right side with your hand under your cheek, similar to how the Buddha is depicted at his final nirvana. Fifth is working with the subtle body. You visualize energy in your central channel becoming stable and clear. You might practice tummo or inner heat to energize the channels. You focus awareness at your throat chakra, which is associated with dream states, visualizing a luminous red syllable there. These subtle body practices create physiological conditions that support conscious dreaming according to the tradition's understanding of how channels, winds, and essences affect consciousness. Leave a comment about your dream practice. Are you working with lucid dreaming? Have you experienced parallels between dream states and meditative states? Your experience contributes to collective understanding of these practices. The tradition also categorizes different types of dreams, each offering different opportunities for practice and insight. Ordinary dreams are random, confused narratives arising from the day's residue and your karmic propensities. They have no particular significance except as reflections of your mental state. Clear light dreams occur in deep sleep when gross dreaming ceases and consciousness rests in luminosity. Karmic dreams replay significant events or relationships, often feeling more charged with meaning than ordinary dreams. Teaching dreams convey dharma instructions, sometimes from your teacher or from deities. Prophetic dreams reveal future events or provide guidance for decisions. The tradition takes these seriously when they meet certain criteria: clarity, vividness, a quality of certainty, and subsequent verification. Many tulkus, recognized reincarnations, are first identified through dreams, where the deceased lama appears to disciples indicating where and when they'll be reborn. Pure vision dreams show pure lands, deities, or enlightened beings. These are considered blessings that create karmic connections and sometimes mark stages of progress in practice. Working with each type of dream requires different approaches. Ordinary dreams benefit from simple lucidity practice and examining their nature. Karmic dreams might be worked with therapeutically, using lucid dreaming to resolve traumatic patterns or complete unfinished emotional business. Teaching dreams should be remembered carefully and reflected upon, as they may contain genuine dharma instruction. Prophetic dreams are observed without becoming attached to outcomes. Understanding that future events are not fixed but probabilistic, influenced by ongoing choices. Pure vision dreams are opportunities to practice devotion, receive blessings, and strengthen connections with enlightened beings. The ultimate teaching about dreams in Tibetan Buddhism is that understanding their nature points directly to understanding the nature of all experience. When you're dreaming, the dream appears solid and real. You engage with dream characters as if they were independent beings. You react to dream events with genuine emotion. You don't question the strange inconsistencies or impossible occurrences. The dream experience is completely convincing while you're in it. But when you wake up, you immediately recognize it was just a dream. The characters weren't real people with independent existence. The events didn't happen in any objective sense. The emotions you felt were responses to mind's own projections. Nothing in the dream had any inherent existence. It was all appearances in consciousness, arising from nowhere and dissolving back into nowhere. Yet while it lasted, it seemed completely real. The teaching asks, isn't waking experience exactly the same? Right now, you're experiencing what seems like a solid, objective external reality. You interact with people you assume are independently existing beings. You react to events with real emotions. You take seriously your problems, your achievements, your relationships. But from the perspective of enlightenment, this is equally a dream. These appearances have no more inherent existence than dream appearances. They arise from causes and conditions, from your karma and mental states, appearing vividly while empty of intrinsic reality. When you wake up from an ordinary dream, you don't mourn the loss of dream possessions or relationships because you recognize they were never real in the first place. Similarly, when you wake up from the dream of samsara through enlightenment, you don't mourn the loss of worldly concerns because you recognize they never had the solidity you attributed to them. This doesn't mean they don't matter at the conventional level, or that you shouldn't engage with life compassionately. It means understanding their actual nature allows you to engage with freedom rather than with desperate clinging and aversion. Dream yoga is training in recognizing this dreamlike nature directly, experientially, not just as philosophical concept. When you can see your dreams as dreams while dreaming, you're developing the capacity to see waking reality as equally dreamlike while fully awake. When you understand that dream appearances respond to your mental states, you begin understanding that waking appearances similarly respond to mental states, though through more complex karmic mechanisms. When you're not fooled by dream appearances, you become less fooled by waking appearances. This recognition is what the Mahamudra and Dzogchen traditions point toward, seeing all experience as the play of awareness, empty appearances arising in the space of consciousness, no more or less real than dreams. In deep Mahamudra meditation, the boundary between waking, dreaming, and dreamless sleep dissolves. You recognize all three states as equal expressions of mind's nature. You rest in the awareness that observes all states without being limited to or defined by any of them. The connection to death becomes completely clear. If you recognize this life as dreamlike while living it, you won't be shocked when it ends and another dream begins. If you understand that your current body and identity are no more inherently you than your dream body and dream identity, you won't be devastated by losing them at death. If you've trained in maintaining awareness through dream transitions, you'll have capacity for maintaining awareness through death transitions. If you can recognize dream appearances as mind's projections, you can recognize bardo appearances as mind's projections. The practices converge. Dream yoga, death meditation, emptiness realization, deity practice, all are training the same fundamental recognition. Appearances arise in consciousness, are experienced by consciousness, are empty of existence independent of consciousness. This recognition is wisdom. This wisdom is liberation. And dreams are one of the most accessible laboratories for developing this wisdom, because every single night, you have the opportunity to practice recognizing appearances as appearances while fully experiencing them. Share your commitment to dream practice in the comments. Will you set intention for lucid dreaming tonight? Will you practice examining waking reality as dreamlike? Will you study dream yoga texts or seek instruction from qualified teachers? Your commitment strengthens your practice and inspires others. As we approach the culmination of this exploration, consider the profound gift that dreams represent. Every night, without any special effort or equipment, you enter a state that simulates death and the bardo. Your consciousness separates from gross physical sensation. You experience a reality that operates by different rules. You encounter beings and situations that arise from your own mind. You have opportunities for recognizing the nature of these appearances and working with them skillfully. All of this happens naturally, whether you pay attention or not. The tragedy is that most people completely ignore this gift. They sleep unconsciously, dream unconsciously, wake up barely remembering fragments, and never use these experiences for training or insight. It's like having access to the most sophisticated simulator imaginable for the most important transition you'll face, and never turning it on. Tibetan Buddhism is offering you the instruction manual for using the simulator consciously, for training every night in the capacities you'll need when death actually arrives. The teaching isn't about becoming a dream wizard or having entertaining lucid dreams, though those may occur as byproducts. It's about preparing comprehensively for death, by training in states that parallel death while you're still alive and can practice safely. It's about developing confidence through direct experience that consciousness continues through transitions, that appearances are mind-created, that maintaining awareness is possible even when ordinary reference points dissolve. It's about discovering through your own investigation that what Buddhism teaches about mind, reality, death, and rebirth isn't just philosophy, but accurate description of how consciousness actually operates. When death comes, if you've trained extensively in dream yoga, you'll have tremendous advantage. The dissolution stages will be familiar because you've watched similar dissolutions every time you fall asleep. The appearance of the clear light won't shock you into unconsciousness because you've touched similar luminosity in deep sleep practice. The visions of the bardo won't overwhelm you because you've worked with vivid appearances in lucid dreams, understanding their mind's projections. The transition toward rebirth won't be pure confusion. because you've navigated transitions between states countless times in your dreams. None of this guarantees liberation. You can practice dream yoga for years and still fail to recognize the clear light at death. But your odds are immeasurably better than someone who never practiced, who never prepared, who approaches death with no understanding of what to expect or how to navigate it. And even if you don't achieve liberation at death, the capacities developed through dream yoga ensure better rebirth circumstances, continued progress on the path, eventual awakening across future lifetimes. The practices are accessible to everyone. You don't need special initiation or equipment. You don't need to be a monk or live in a monastery. You simply need to value your dreams enough to work with them consciously, to set intentions, to practice both in sleep and while awake, to study the teachings and apply them consistently. Start simply. Set intention each night to remember dreams. Keep a dream journal. Perform reality checks during the day. Study texts on dream yoga. Gradually expand your practice as capacity develops. If this exploration has shifted your understanding of dreams and their connection to death, if you see sleep differently now as opportunity rather than just rest, subscribe and activate notifications. We're systematically exploring Tibetan Buddhist practices that transform everyday experience into spiritual training, making enlightenment accessible through ordinary life. Share this video with anyone interested in dreams, consciousness, or preparing wisely for death. Most importantly, practice tonight. Before sleep, set strong intention to recognize your dreams as dreams. If you wake during the night from a dream, immediately write down what you remember. In the morning, recall and record dreams while they're still fresh. Throughout tomorrow, practice seeing waking experience as dreamlike, checking periodically whether you might be dreaming. This simple beginning initiates a process that can revolutionize your understanding of reality and prepare you comprehensively for death. May all beings recognize dreams as dreams. May all beings develop lucidity in sleep. May all beings understand the dreamlike nature of all experience. May all beings use dream practice to prepare for death. May all beings recognize the clear light when it appears and achieve liberation. Thank you for engaging with these profound teachings that reveal the hidden bridge between dreams and death. May your dreams become practice, your practice become realization, and your realization become benefit for all beings everywhere.